We'd like to call the meeting to order, February 18th. If you'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. The first item on the agenda are public comments. If you'd go to the microphone and give your name and address, and you can also speak on every agenda item as well.
Okay. Hi, you guys. My name is Kevin Green. My address is 8851 Amarantha Lane. I'm here to discuss, my sister and I, we opened a restaurant, Spoonfuls, off of Rawsonville Road near 94. The address is 2111 Rawsonville Road. The concerns that I have is that there was a ruling made on January 21st involving the liquor license that we pursued to discuss that we wouldn't be able to get the liquor license for 18 to 24 months. From the discussions that I had with Stan, Larry, and Jimmy, that wasn't the understanding that I had after leaving that meeting. Prior to that meeting, I also sent an email to all three parties just asking them to have an earlier discussion based off of our performance as far as having our restaurant and the establishment that we currently have. I would have assumed that even if there was going to be a discussion of our restaurant on the 21st, that they would have responded to the email that I sent them on the 7th. That did not happen. So at this point, I'm looking to determine how do we get on the next meeting agenda and how do we discuss this matter moving forward?
Clerk Rowe, I think.
I talked to,
She's here.
oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, I talked to her on the phone on Friday and told her I'd call you back. And I did try to call, after I did research, to call you back to find out exactly. During the process of setting up the agenda for that meeting, the person who normally does it in conjunction with me, she ended up going in for surgery, and I ended up having to do emergency out of town. So, because what we normally do is contact the folks. She cannot, I asked her, and she could not remember whether she had called or not. But she said she definitely didn't send you an email to tell you about that meeting of when your liquor license application was going to be heard. And so I just profusely, again, it's not my style of doing business, apologize for not notifying you of that, a chance to speak to that when it was on the agenda.
So your suggestion was to?
My suggestion was I was going to call you when I called you today, but your voicemail was full. I was going to just suggest that you come to a work session, and then you could just, whatever that you were going to plan on saying at the hearing, that you could do that at that time. And so, but I mean, you're here tonight, so I guess if you wanted to do it tonight, that's fine too. Anything that you would have said on that evening. That was going to be my suggestion, to give you a chance to talk to the board about why it is that you wanted the liquor license for your establishment.
Okay, so I guess my next question would be, are you looking for me to go through a business plan, which at this point I don't currently have with me, but I can definitely go off memory based on what we're looking to do, as I discussed with Larry, Jimmy, and Stan.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry if it's okay. What I heard from you is that you're asking to be on the next agenda to discuss.
Yes, ideally, okay. That way I can come better prepared, because currently, like, the situation that we're looking at is that we weren't aware of the previous meeting, right, that our business was discussed.
Right.
Okay. So that was an error, and then
yes.
Clerk Rowe had suggested that we have you come back at another meeting, so the next one, and put them on the agenda.
Yeah, because tonight I didn't want to suggest tonight, because I just thought that didn't give you time. And that's what when I called Ms. Wadsworth, that's what I was going to share with her. It's like, if that was acceptable, have you all come back for the next board meeting, which is March 3rd, or the work session I thought was be the appropriate.
Is there a work session before the next meeting on March 1st?
On March 3rd.
March 3rd?
Mm-hmm, at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
If that works.
That's fine.
Does that work?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Anything you want to, and anything that you want to submit ahead of time to give the board members a chance to read that before March 3rd, I could actually put it in the packet, and so everybody can have that to look at.
Yep, I'll look online for everyone's email address and send it to you all.
Please, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and if, like I said, because I put together the packet, so we could, actually include it in the packet and stuff if you wanted it to be. And if not, you can hand it out, or you can send it individually. It's up to you.
Yep, I'll send it beforehand. Thank
All
you.
right, okay, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
You need to go to the microphone because, I'm sorry, the person who types the minutes, they're not in the room, so it helps when you're at the microphone and give your name.
Okay, we got a non-official petition going right now. How do we go about getting an official petition, or would a non-official petition be acceptable? Because we have a lot of signatures of just the community itself that wants us to be in that building, and they want to see us with a liquor license. So how do we go about that and having that recognized, the signatures? Do we need an official one, or the non-official one that we have? Would that be acceptable?
Could you just give your name for the record? I'm sorry, the person who's not here.
Angel Wadsworth.
Okay, Angel. Petitions they don't have to be official. If you want, so they're people supporting you and your business, is that correct?
Yes.
So once you turn them in, then we accept them, but it's not official. There's no official petitions.
Okay, so
Right.
it's just something that we started
can do yourself,
gathering because
yeah.
the customers, as they're coming in, they're constantly asking,
Yeah.
what is going on with this bar? When is it going to be open? And, and the crowd of people that we have is an older age. Everyone is well over the age of being able to have a drink, and, they come in and they want just a drink with their meal. And it's not a younger crowd of people. It's, a nice age group of people that's really wanting to come in. Like, even, just as us being a business owner, we had the AF Act group that wanted to do a party there, and that's senior citizens, and they canceled on us because we didn't have a liquor license. So it's a lot of people in the community is, really wanting to see this place with a liquor license, and just want y'all to look at that as well.
Well,
when you make your
we do
decision.
apologize for you not being notified. That is not normal, and we apologize for that, but we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry you had to come all the way out.
I didn't know if you knew or not, and I know this isn't, what you're seeking, but, you can get for special events, you can get one day license, I know. I didn't know if you were aware of that.
How do we do that?
It's through the same website that you went to for your state application?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on there. You can see on there for one-day special events that people get those. Like if you had a big crowd coming in, you wanted to do a party, or you could. It's on that same LARA, the licensing and regulatory agency of the state of Michigan. Same place you look. It's the same. It's just a different. That's where you can get like the beer and wine, or the retail, or the liquor Class C. It's all the same thing. It's just the same form. You just check a different box for one-day event. And they have a number on there too, and they're really pretty friendly in terms of calling them and saying, hey, here's what we want to do. We're a restaurant, but we're doing this one-day event for this, senior group or whatever it is, and they can walk you through that process too. So in the meantime.
Okay, so will we be notified as far as the agenda, or we just have to look online and just?
It's March the 3rd, and you'll be on the work session at 5 o'clock. Well, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have an email, I don't think, for you. So if you could give us the email, that's easier, because I try to call and get it
I'm going to
through.
send everyone the business plan, so that'll be by Friday.
Okay.
So you'll have my email.
All right,
contact
all right,
information
thank
then.
you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comments?
My name is Arloa Kaiser. I live at 1421 Melvin Street, and I would like to complain to the Township Board about the stupid mail. It's been over, a year and a half? You got Debbie Dingle involved. I don't know how many other people. This is ridiculous. The other day, I received 3 pieces of mail that were, I believe, Van Buren's school advertisement, and I'm sorry, I forgot to bring them with me, but I got 3, so that meant 2 other people didn't get their mail. People are paying for these mailings, and so what good does it do? If I get 3, who knows who down the road has gotten more? I got 2 things from Habitat for Humanity. One was mine, one was the neighbors, which I delivered. There was a clerk's alert that was for the post person. And I got it, but
Ms.
that
Kaiser,
was-
did you call the post office?
I went to the post office.
Okay, so I want to tell
And
them.
so I was not to get that. That was to alert the whoever was sorting the mail. But this shows you that there is no detail orientation to what they're doing.
Okay.
I went to another post office to mail my mail because I don't trust this post office. And they said, well, it's the administration at the post office. Why for so many years have we had so few problems, and all of a sudden we have all these problems that nobody knows what to do or how to do it? I received mail, took it to the neighbor, and he said, oh, I just give it back to the carrier. We've received a lot of misaddressed envelopes. Something from the doctor's office.
We'll report it, yeah.
Well, I went to the post office.
No, I said we'll also report it as
Okay.
well, because we are very concerned, because we're going to be voting by mail too. And, I mean, if you can't depend on your absentee ballot to be delivered and returned, you know.
Income tax time?
Income tax is a big one too, and we've heard a lot of stories. We've met with them once, but, you know,
Are they that stupid that they takes more than once to tell them? They're supposed to be educated people, and I hope they can count and read numbers. My husband was supposed to receive some mail from a doctor's office, did not. I went and complained, and they said, well, did they send it? Now, don't doctor's office, if it means money for them, they're going to do what they're supposed to, and the post office can't?
okay, I will.
I mean, there's
let-
no responsibility in the post office anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll go on to the agenda. We have the consent agenda with the minutes, did you get my? Of January 21st, work session and regular meeting, statements and checks, and the January 2020 treasurer's report.
Move to approve.
Motion Doe, support Rowe to approve. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Attorney's report? Any winners? Is there some general legal update?
Well, I've been giving probably what I would call general legal updates since the beginning of the year on a variety of topics, and I can say this from just my experience. There is an awful lot going on in the township, which I think is in many ways very, very positive. You've been getting a lot of letters about ongoing developmental projects. I think the addition of Jason has been a tremendous help to the staff here, as well as our office in regards to jumping in hands-on. You're seeing what's happening over here at the Huron Center Commercial Industrial Park. We've got 2 hotels, well, one partially built, one has been built, and a third one on the way perhaps in Holiday Inn. So there's just a lot of issues going on, very good in terms of staying busy. It also brings about some challenges. We still trying to make sure we stabilize our neighborhoods. That's the number one priority. We have issues with a few recalcitrant property owners. We also have additional challenges with the padlock cases. We also have ongoing cleanup. It's still not where we want it to be in regards to Forbes cleaners. Some of the board members received an update today where the state is going to install what they call a vapor mitigation system at 2 of the residential properties, with the understanding that a third one will also be installed perhaps this week. There's also going to be the necessity of additional testing on those properties, on some of the properties, which is going to result in 2 garages being torn down and then obviously rebuilt at the expense of the state. And we're still looking for the funding needed to remove an abandoned sewer line that I think that they believe has contributed to some of the contamination. I guess in summary, what I'm trying to say is that there's just a lot of moving parts, some developmental, some environmental, something to do with, again, the social policy of neighborhood stabilization. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and so I'm getting a lot of letters that cover a very, very broad swath of topics. We've also just received, or going to be receiving, our annual pilot payment from the ACM that was the result of the negotiations that Supervisor Brenda Stumble and myself participated in 4 years ago. The increase was not as great this year, but it was still $230,000. And they're expecting a $10 million investment this year, which, if that materializes, will add at least another $50,000 to the pilot payment next year. On a different note, Clark-East Towers, who I just received, and so did Treasurer Doe, their calculations, they also have a pilot agreement. They have 2 agreements. One's a pilot agreement in which they make a payment in lieu of taxes. And this year, the payment went up $4,000 to $66,000. And in looking at the numbers, they have really stabilized in terms of that property. They put $12 to $14 million that was obtained through the board wrote a very, very strong letter in support of that MISTA funding, and they really did a beautiful job of actually redoing a lot of all of the rooms over there at Clark-East Towers. And it went from being a troubled property to now I think it's operating at nearly full capacity because their vacancy loss was very, very low this year compared to previous years, which again shows there's a need as well as stability. In addition to the pilot payment, which is divided amongst 14 different municipalities, taxing authorities, libraries, etc., the township also receives an annual payment of $20,400, which is what we refer to as a municipal service agreement that goes to help the township offset our costs for police, fire, response. So there's a lot going on, and I apologize. Sometimes the letters are maybe more detailed, but they have to be detailed in order for you to have a good grasp on what's going on. And as always, if you have any additional follow-up questions, I get follow-up questions, which is good because I think that shows that, number one, you're reading the letters, and number two, if you have questions that are not clear from the letters, then I'd be more than glad to discuss those. So thank you for your questions, and let's continue going forward because it's going to be a great year.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Under new business, number 1, it was agreed in the work session we were going to table this till March 3rd.
So moved.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Wilson. Roll call Rowe.
Yes.
Eldridge.
Yes.
Ross Williams.
Yes.
Rowe.
Yes.
Stumble vote yes. Doe.
Yes.
And Wilson.
Yes.
It's tabled until the next meeting. Number 2 is a request to approve the special event policy and application.
So moved.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Ross Williams. Mr. Hoffmeister.
Good evening. Mike Hoffmeister, Residential Services Director. This is a newly proposed special event policy and application for the Recreation Department. This will help us and guide staff to host larger special events in our parks. These would be special events that are just outside of simple facility rentals or shelter rentals, car shows or 5Ks that might want to take place in our park. And this will take place of a policy that does exist that's a little bit antiquated and not really used.
Are there questions or comments?
Just a comment, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank you for putting this together for our parks. And I know I attended a couple of park meetings where this was discussed, and I know a couple of changes was made to it as a result. And I think also you noted that this does also cover any type of events that may be at the soon-to-be-coming skate park, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Other comments? May I, first of all, this is great, and I'm so glad you're here, Mike. You're doing a great job, and I know Angie and your whole, and the golf team, and people, Wayne, everyone's happy that you're here as well, so appreciate your leadership on this, because it has been an issue at the Park Commission. Did you add smoking to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not in this, I couldn't find it in this version, right? Because we're a smoke-free.
That's correct.
Park facility too. Okay, all right. And no more questions or comments? Here, Mr. Winters, have you reviewed it as well?
Yeah, I did review this, and I think I wrote Mike a letter on one of our weekends where we talked about this. And again, I have to defer to his judgment in regards to the number of
Toilets?
portalets.
I changed that.
Okay, so, yeah, I think everything's in proper form. I did provide a few comments about whether or not we were charging enough, but again, I'll defer to the expertise of the Recreation Department in that regard, but I did think that one portable toilet for 300 people sounded not quite enough, but.
Okay. We have a motion to support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The third item is request to approve memorandum of understanding between Michigan Recreation Parks Association, which is M-Parks, and the Charter Township of Ypsilanti, and accept a grant in the amount of $10,000 for improvements at Apple Ridge Park.
So move.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Ross Williams. Mr. Hoffmeister?
Yeah, this is a real basic MOU with M Parks to make some small improvements at Apple Ridge Park in the amount of $10,000.
This is our second, is this our second grant for Apple Ridge, right, Ange? Yes. All right. And some of the things you look to be doing is?
Increase security lighting, increase seating, improve some of the trail connections or sidewalk improvements over there, so.
Good, that's great. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is a request to approve the Connecting Communities Project Agreement with Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation Commission for Phase 1 of the Huron Street pathway.
So move.
To approve.
Motion Doe? Support. Support Wilson? Mr. Hoffmeister?
If you remember, we were awarded approximately $150,000 for the Connecting Communities grant for Huron Street Pathway Phase 1. This is that agreement that locks us into that project.
Questions or comment? We do have this budgeted as well. And our matching amount was, what was it? Mike, do you remember?
I do not know off the top of my head at this time, no.
160?
I say like 300,000.
310 was a total or something, but I was just, was it 80-20?
No, they only gave us 150, but they've now changed that to, and they, that amount.
I think by, maybe it's 180, well, 30,000 is included, but this is just for the construction portion of the Huron pathway.
See them out there doing engineering every day.
So this connection is from the
Huron River.
Kroger's, like right at the corner of Huron River Drive and Whitaker and,
To James L. Hart.
yeah, heading north to James L. Hart. And then the next connection after that will be to the city, the bridge, where we're
Correct.
going to have a pedestrian place there, which is a big concern. Yes, Trustee Wilson? Oh, Mr. Winters?
Just want to make sure that before you sign the agreement, I know that the county did agree to the changes that I recommended in regards to the indemnification and maybe some other paragraphs. So this might be the initial version. Just make sure that the version you sign contains those changes that were, because I talked to Curtis Hedger at the time, and it got all worked out.
We'll double check that. I do believe I sent the updated one over as part of this, but we'll make sure it's the correct one.
Okay, so make sure it's a final version that was approved by the attorney. We have a motion and support, and this is supposed to be completed this year, right? By
That's
July?
correct. That's correct.
I think July.
That's correct,
Yeah.
yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5 is request to approve additional services with Spicer Group to assist with the complete State Historic Preservation Office clearance as part of Land and Water Conservation Grant requirements in the amount of $1,500, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Support.
There's a motion support to continue with Spicer Group on this project. Mr.
If you
Hoffmeister?
remember, yes, excuse me, if you remember, we are utilizing Spicer Group to assist us with grant applications for upgrades at Community Center Park and Clubview Park. This is an additional services agreement in the amount of $1,500 just to complete the SHPO, which is the State Historic Preservation Office clearance application as part of the MDNR application.
All right. Do we have who was the motion?
Yeah, and who supported it? Who made it? Was that you, Larry?
No, you made it.
Okay. I don't know how I made it when I was reading something else, but all right, I made it.
So we had, for clarification, we had a motion by Rose, support by Ross Williams to approve the agreement.
Great. Sorry if I spoke out of turn, I apologize. Kevin is also here from Spicer Group if you'd like to ask him any questions.
Any questions of the Spicer Group? No, I don't have any. Okay. Thank you, though. We appreciate it. We have a motion support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we have the request to approve the merchant agreement with Global Payments for credit card processing with the Civic Rec software at the community center.
So moved. Support.
Motion Rowe. Support Gerald Rowe. Mr. Hoffmeister?
Yes, this is a merchant agreement with Global Payments. This will allow us to get moving with the Civic Rec software program, which the Recreation Department is going with. If you remember, last fall, we decided to switch software programs. This is simply the merchant agreement that gets our credit card processing going.
Is there an annual fee with this?
That's 3% per transaction across all credit cards.
Okay. And Mr. Winters has reviewed it?
Yeah, yes, I did. I reviewed this, and the general comment I would have on this one and some of the other ones that follow is, what Mike and I have talked is, who's going to keep track of all these contracts that have automatic renewals? So I think this is another one that has automatic renewals. And I'm always sensitive to the fact that future boards are going to be inheriting some of these agreements, and that if there's going to be a timeline diary, because there may be a point when you don't wish to continue to utilize some of these vendors for whatever reason, and anymore it seems to be kind of a standard clause in these contracts that they, you have an automatic renewal built into it, and unless someone is Mike and I talked about how we could possibly, not me, but him could maybe chart these as to which ones have automatic renewals with the clerk's office. I think it would be a good thing to do for future township boards.
Agreed.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just have one quick question. That 3%, that is going to be the credit card processing fee for the remainder of the contract, correct? They're not going up or down?
That's correct.
Or better yet, they're not going up?
That's correct.
It'd be great if they went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish.
Okay. All right, thank you.
We have a motion and support with the understanding that we'll have some sort of system that when these are up, that it pops up on the computer so we know. In the clerk's office.
Good luck with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is a request to approve customer agreement with T-SNAP to install a point-of-sale system at Ypsilanti Township park gates in the amount of $5,000, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Motion Rose, support Eldridge.
This is an agreement with TSNAP. TSNAP is all of the same software that we utilize at Green Oaks Golf Course now, iPad-driven. This will allow us to take credit cards at our park gates as well as track our memberships better, be able to email to our park members better, and then we'll assist with reporting for staff's sake so they're not doing it all by paper on a Monday morning in the office. It'll all be report-based and much easier for staff.
And this is an annual renewal of $5,000?
That's correct. It's similar to the TSNAP agreement at Green Oaks where it's 2 years and then an automatic renewal.
But the annual rate is $5,000?
That's correct. I apologize. Yep, $5,000 per year.
Which is, so it's not per transaction?
That's correct. This is a flat rate.
This is a different
Yeah,
kind of
that's correct.
system. And Mr. Winters has reviewed it?
Yes, and same comment would be true also. This also has automatic renewal after the initial period, I think, of 2 years. And enough said about the automatic renewals, but there are quite a few of those. There are quite a few of these. And it's like maybe it'd be a good idea to just see at the end of this year how many we have. Because I know there's probably at least a dozen I can think of.
So this is a 2-year agreement, correct?
Well, it's a 2-year, but then it has it has an automatic extension built into it unless you renegotiate it prior to the end of the term. There's got to be a way of diarying all these contracts, so if you decide to say it didn't work out very well, they could get proper notice and move on. Otherwise, it's going to be binding for another cycle. So, and the courts tend to uphold some of these provisions in these contracts. That's why I'm concerned about it.
So there is a $5,000 annual payment plus a 2.75% processing. So it is like the other one. Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was trying really hard not to speak most of the meeting because I have this voice, but I just wanted to thank Mike and Angie both. The only 2 places in the world that are left where cash only is acceptable to me are Dom's Donuts and Bill's Hot Dog Stand. So I just think it's a really great move to continue moving towards electronic accessibility, whether it's for our staff to use and keep records that way, or if it's for our residents to sign up for different services online through the rec software. And I also share Doug's concern, but that's not a problem that we can't fix. We can figure that out. So thank you both.
I hope we can transcribe what you said, but it sounds like you support 100%. Bless your heart. I know there are contracts that are automatic renewal, and if we don't like what the company's doing, that's what kind of brings us to the top of it. But we could actually, have something pop up to make sure. We agree. So we have any other questions or comment? We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Number 8 is request to approve a Class C liquor license for Green Oaks Golf Course as recommended by the Liquor Commission.
Move to approve?
Motion by Ross Williams.
Support.
Support by Wilson.
Kirk Sherwood, PJ Director of Golf Operations, Green Oaks.
Okay.
Any questions in regard to this process?
So I know we discussed last year about applying for a liquor license in order to expand or increase the revenue at the golf course and potentially have some sort of rentals of the senior building as well. Is that correct?
Right. After I had met with the liquor board, It was determined at this point to move forward with the golf course, but not the community center based on the expenses that would be incurred to bring it up to code. I want to make sure everybody was aware of that.
Nope, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Okay, so then what, potentially expand it at a later date?
Correct.
So there's a way that we can still allow alcohol in the community center for rentals only by where renters could cater it in through a certified caterer that's already licensed with the state that already owns an alcohol permit. So it wouldn't require us to change the building structurally per the building department recommending in order to host a liquor license. But we're going to explore the ability for renters to still have the ability to rent our facilities and then bring in alcohol through proper ways of doing it with caterers and licensed bartenders and that way. So there's a way around it without giving ourselves a liquor license at the community center.
Questions or Clerk Wright?
This isn't really to the license. I support getting the license, but I would like to see, I know that, I was looking for the packet, but I don't think we put it in there. The building department came up with a bunch of things, and I guess because the way I understood it was, which I never really, I asked for more explanation and I never got that. I'm not blaming anybody, but anyways, that when you have a liquor license, it's like the community center's got to be like a full-fledged restaurant or something with the, you know, the big thing that takes the food out, the vent thing, and a whole bunch of stuff. But then I was really concerned, and then part of it was sprinkling, and I thought, we have people in there all the time anyways, so I would like to see us get that in the budget, and maybe for next year, maybe we could use this year after we get done with all these other construction projects we got to come up with a plan to actually, you know, start moving the community center into this, you know, 2021 and actually implement those things, because they seem to me like they were all safety things anyways, extra exit doors, it was that we need to do. And then I think part of that too is like at the last budget we talked a lot about, and I think you support it, Mike, you come from a place where they make money on their rentals, and that we could actually look at how can we like not only fix it to make it safer and meet those building things so we could get a liquor license in there someday, but how can we like just clean it up, step it up so that it's actually somewhere where people would want to have their wedding or want to have their shower. So maybe after we get through getting these projects all underway, we could actually work on that community center stuff, which I know has nothing to do with your liquor license. I support that, the application.
Madam Chair, I just had a quick question.
Yes, trustee.
I know it came up earlier in regards to like a special, like one-day.
Events.
Yeah, one-day liquor license. Would the issues that exist stop an applicant from getting a one-day liquor license at that facility?
No, that's the exact route they would have to go. They'd have to get a one-day
Okay.
with a specific caterer that already has a catering permit with the state using a
Okay.
licensed bartender.
Okay, got you. Okay, thank you. That answers that question.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 9 is request to waive and refund the application fee for Class C liquor license for the township, for Green Oaks Golf Course.
Support.
Motion Eldridge, support Doe. Questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 11 is request to approve memorandum of agreement between Greater Ann Arbor Prosperity Region 2 Initiative.
No, 10, you're in 10,
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot that.
the subaward.
Number 10 is request approval of agreement with Washoe County for subaward of federal financial assistance for funding for construction costs associated with the community center flooring.
I make a motion to approve that.
Support.
Motion Rose, support Eldridge.
This is just to allow the path through the grant dollars.
Questions, this is to actually, this is a good project. We have people here. You want to tell about the replacement
Sure.
of the floors at the
Yeah,
community
this is a
center?
subaward agreement with Washtenaw County for a pass-through entity for us to be the subrecipient for the floor renovation at the community center. We received no bids last time, but again, with the help of Kevin at Spicer, we're going back to bid and are excited to get that project done in August this year, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be great. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 11 is request to approve the memorandum of agreement between Greater Ann Arbor Prosperity Region 2 Initiative and the Charter Township of Ypsilanti, and accept the grant in the amount of $26,690. Motion Rowe.
Support.
Support Ross Williams. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I got this one down, want me to read it? A new motion? I said this one's going to be different. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
12, there's been a substitute motion, or there's going to be a substitute request to waive, for number 12, request to waive the financial policy and award the quote to Jack Dimmer Ford for a Ford Escape for the Office of Community Standards in the amount of $22,180 to be budgeted line item, which will also have to change the budget amendment, Giovanna, line item of 595-595-0008985, contingent on approval of the budget amendment.
Just 21,000, right?
Because you had to add in the $1,000 for the
Oh, okay.
paint, or
Okay.
whatever, paint, the,
Gotcha.
thank you, details. So make that motion?
Motion Rowe.
Support.
Support Joe Rowe. So on the agenda, we had a Dodge Journey, and that was through My Deal, is that right?
No. It's not my deal, it's,
The other. And then we were able to find a Ford for $200 more that more matches what the ordinance department does, is that correct?
Wayne Dudley, Building Operations Superintendent and Fleet Manager. What I did was I went out to Mitten and went out to, and put the specs out on Mitten. And in the package, you should have gotten a spreadsheet showing you all the responses that we got from all the different vendors. It went out to like 129 qualified vendors that were on Mitten. There was like 12 that downloaded them, and then these 6 responses came back.
But this isn't on there.
yeah, Jack Dimmer's on there, it's the first one.
Yeah, it's one up the top.
21,000, price for 188.54.
So you're recommending the Ford model to go with the Ford
That was requested by Mr. Radzik,
from the ordinance department?
correct.
So they all, is it white?
It will be,
Okay. I mean, because that's all of their vehicles. Well, there's one,
yeah.
one inspector is red, but,
Well, we have a red one, we have a silver one, and one of the vehicles that's coming up later, the requester asked for silver on that one too, but we'll decide.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, just the same question I ask all the time. Is a vehicle going to be a vehicle that's actually being purchased or upgraded for this one, will be traded in, and actually the monies go back to the township as a cost savings?
The one this is for a new position, this is for the new planner.
Okay, for a
There's
new
not-
planner. Okay,
correct.
got you. All right, yeah, that's what I
This
was
is,
asking.
yeah, this is not a replacement,
Okay, this is a new purchase.
correct.
Okay, for planning. For the planning department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
This is for Jason.
Jason,
I had a question, because I know, have they talked to you about another vehicle or not? For another new employee?
no, the only other one I know is the one that's on the agenda.
so we have a motion and support to purchase the Jack Deemer Ford vehicle in the amount of $22,661.28. Is that what you said?
I think it was $22,188
Okay. 21,
and 14 cents.
okay. So we have a motion support. All in, are you?
Chair,
Yes.
question, what kind of lights you got to put on this for $1,000?
No, it's the decals. It's all the decals, all the way around the truck, the logos,
Gotcha.
the description of the department, all of the logos.
We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 13 is a request to approve agreement with Detroit Elevator to provide state-required elevator inspections at the Civic Center.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Eldridge. Questions or comment? Pretty self-explanatory. It's for the elevator inspections. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 14 is a request to waive the financial policy and award the quote to Galena Van Dyke Dodge for a 2020 Dodge Ram, $1,500 for the Parks Department, in the amount of $20,451, which is budgeted.
Move to approve.
Motion Doe, support Eldridge. Questions or comment?
Madam Chair, is this a new purchase or
It's replacing the existing.
This is replacing a 2003 Ranger, the Ranger truck. It's got 96,000 miles on it.
okay, same thing?
And that'll be sold later in the summer for auction.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, a request to waive the financial policy and approve the quote from Utilities Instrument Services for emergency repairs to the high-voltage transformer at the hydro station in an amount not to exceed $27,476, which is budgeted.
Move to approve.
Motion Doe, support Eldridge. Michael?
Good evening. Michael Sarna, Operations Manager. Late in the November, December, our high voltage transformer at the hydro station has developed an internal resistance problem. With talking with our service groups, we need to replace all the low voltage bushings and treat the oil that's in there and degas it so we can extend the life of that transformer. If we decide not to do that, it could lead to complete failure and downtime of the hydro, which would direct relation to revenue loss. So,
All right, questions or comments?
So get on it.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike, so much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 16 is budget amendment. Clerk Rowe?
I have a motion to increase the general fund budget by $109,438, and that's for streetlights and PTO payout to $9,451,459, and approve the line item changes as outlined. To increase the bike, sidewalk, rec, roads, general fund 2 budget by $155,859. That's for the Burns tennis courts later on our agenda to $2,092,689, and approve the line item changes as outlined. To increase the building fund budget by $3,855 to $905,355, and approve the line item changes outlined. To increase the law enforcement fund by $1,721. It's also for a lease to $8,120,227, and approve the line item changes as outlined. Increase the compost fund for a PTO payout to $4,438 to $948,857, and approve the line item changes as outlined. And the motor pool fund budget by $21,000, that's for the judge journey for the planning, to $21,730 to $288,272, to approve the line item changes outlined, and also to make all the changes that are needed to make that change on purchasing that Ford Explorer that Giovanna can make.
Madam Chair,
Move.
support. Madam Chair, I just have a question about the motor pool fund. I feel like the balance isn't matching up to me. Because in the email per Mike, it was 21,188, and then plus the 750 would be 21,938, so it'd be a little short. So I mean, I guess our motion could,
Yeah, that's why I said at the end, include, that's what
It's
I.
not the same as what you passed out, though, right before the meeting.
No, right. And that's why I said at the end, and reading all this, I said, and also to include the changes for the car vehicle change to purchase a Ford Escape, so that Giovanna has authority to go ahead and make those changes. Good catch.
Thank you.
Probably said it too fast. Sorry. So I move that budget amendment. Oh, I think, you already supported, sorry. Sorry, Britt.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Authorization bids, we have the request to seek bids for the replacement of flooring at the community center, and this will come back to the board.
Move to approve.
So approved.
Motion Rowe, support Doe. Wilson, support Wilson.
No.
It's Joe and Wilson.
Wilson, move twice.
Wilson and Doe.
We have a motion by Wilson, supported by Doe, to approve the request to go out to seek bids for the replacement of the flooring at the community center. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, we have the request to award the low bid for Burns Park Tennis Court renovation to Best Asphalt in the amount of $155,859 to be budgeted in line item 212-970-000-975-795, contingent upon approval of the budget amendment and approval of the contract by the township attorney.
Support.
Motion Eldridge, support Doe to approve the contract and award the low bid. Questions or comments? Spicer's here, and I didn't know Best Asphalt did it. I don't know, why didn't I? Who did Ford Lake? Do we,
I don't remember.
who did Ford Lake?
S&J did Ford Lake, S&J.
S&J did?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And these are going to be painted, right, so that they have pickleball?
That's correct. Yep. One tennis court, 2 pickleball. We'll fix the fencing, and then we'll obviously seed the grass and do any landscaping that's necessary.
And when is this expected to be completed?
Sorry, I'm just getting to my page here. I think we've got a substantial completion by July 15th. Is that correct? Mid-July is substantial completion, so we're hoping to get moving on this here pretty soon as the weather breaks.
Yeah, I know the residents will be happy. They brought it to Park Commission and to us as well. We have a motion, and they're dangerous right now. So we have them locked up, so this is great. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other business?
Motion
Any
adjourned.
board members?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just, board members update? Motion to adjourn would be.
So moved.
Motion Doe, support Gerald Rowe. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:50.
Oh, that took.